What's going on, everybody? Man, I am super excited to get with you guys today, as I always am. Today is Wednesday, which is Hump Day. And when it's Hump Day, it's time for the Sports Lounge Media, powered by the Mogul brand and the Diamond Collection. Super excited to have Mark back on the set every single week. Also, you guys know our guy down below, Fantasy Blade Podcast. You also can catch him on a lot of the shows that he's doing with the YouTube as well. He talks all football. He talks basketball. He talks fantasy. Fantasy is gonna be doing some fantasy stuff, like in a NFL fantasy. Your picks, who you should sit, who you should start, who you should be drafting. That's gonna be super excited to get with him when he starts doing that again. We're picking out a schedule so that he can help you guys get. He's the master at it, so he's gonna get you guys plugged in, get ready. But you guys know Dice will as well. Super excited to have him on as well with a fresh cut. The Green Goblin is back, so he's up on here. But Mark, you want to go ahead and tell us our sponsors?
Yeah, of course, we got Brian Martino Construction here in the Central Valley. If you need any of your construction estimates needed, bathroom remodels, anything over $10,000, just mention the Sports Lounge and they will give you $1,000 off for any job over $10,000 on a kitchen or bathroom remodel. Then, of course, we've got Cali Built Graphics, who takes care of all of our shirts, hats, everything that you need. Hit up Rigo, let him know that Sports Lounge sent you, and he'll take care of you also. And, of course, last but not least, we have the number one sports fan located in Tulare, Visalia, and Hanford. If you need to go to, and also they just getting their website going even more so at the number1sportsfan.com. So any of your sports merchandise that you need, hit them up. They're keeping up with everything that's coming out. Baseball season's actually just getting released there. And they have all the spring training hats, everything like that. And for those that are Eagles fans, I will say this: they actually have all the Super Bowl merchandise that you need for the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, located here in Tulare. So again, number one sports fan located in Tulare, Visalia, and Hanford, and just let them know the Sports Lounge sent you, and they'll take care of you. So, hey, so obviously, we want to thank our sponsors, but, big thing, we got, you guys see the background. That's going to be a choice of topic here in a few minutes. But first off, let's start off with an NBA recap, starting back throughout this week. What do we got, Chosen?
Yeah, so what we got is we got the Warriors again. They were at Charlotte. I'm starting to see maybe if it's time for, I don't know, if it's time for LaMelo to start figuring out if this is going to be his main spot or not, because obviously what he has and what they were trying to build is not working. So maybe he needs to team up with the Bulls and maybe go with his brother Lonzo and try to form rebuild there. They got better pieces than Charlotte is, but they're kind of falling apart. The Warriors last night didn't look spectacular. There was a lot of on Monday. They didn't look spectacular, but wait, that's a game that Curry had 50 something, right?
No, he only had 21, but Buddy Hield had 22 off the bench. I I thought they played good enough, obviously, but
yeah.
Charlotte's problem is they're not having any bench help. They have no depth. It's all Mikal Bridges, LaMelo Ball, and Mark Williams. That's really all.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, the Warriors are doing Warrior things. I don't know if they're going to catch up. I don't know. Right now, it looks like they're going to stay in the play-in and probably play from there. I think that they can win 2 games out of there and make it in. I just don't. They've been playing really good since the All-Star weekend and when they got Jimmy Butler. So, and then this is I guess the best Jimmy Butler has played. And I think you said it last week, Fantasy. The best is every time Jimmy switches up the scenery, he plays that really good. He plays really good that year, so maybe does. Maybe what you were saying is partially of what we're seeing.
If we remember right, we had Jimmy, Bubble Jimmy, back in COVID. That was one of the best. You got Hood Mello and you got Powder LeBron. I mean, you got all these icons, and Bubble
Yeah.
Jimmy will probably go down as one of the best icons. But yeah, it's true. Every time this guy seems to get a change of scenery, the time runs out on one franchise, he goes to the next, and he starts hooping.
Yeah. Yeah, the next game we got was the Trailblazers versus the 76ers. Now we're at the place where does Embiid, like, is it time for him to retire now? Like, I mean, it just seems like he just can't get it together. Maybe he could get, I think they're checking medically if he can medically get forced to retire. But, I mean, he hasn't really done anything, and I mean, we understand how good of a player he can be. It's just nothing that you give him or any system that you give him really helps him to develop that team and work to win ball games. It's just not it's not working for him. So and a lot of it has to do a lot of it different injuries. Last year he had an injury, and then he had Bell palsy reaction, and his eyes went weird in a game or whatever, and he had to exit the game or whatever. But maybe he needs to be forced to retire. I don't know. What do you guys think?
For me personally, I mean, right, we've heard the phrase for quite some time now since the guy was drafted, and it's been trust the process. That's been a staple that is kind of flew over the whole world, is trust the process, trust the process. I think the process is done. The guy will probably go down as arguably a top 5 bust of all time. When he is healthy, he's a great player. We've seen him put up points on the board. We've seen him in big games. But again, the fact of the matter is if you cannot be on the court, how do you help your team?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Paul George. I mean, we can't give Paul George all this credit either, because Paul George can't play either.
Yeah.
Again, if you can't stay on the court, how do you expect to help your team? And that's the longevity of it. And I think it's time.
For me, I think the big thing with Embiid, I will disagree when it comes to be like one of the top 5 busts of all time, because he has managed to win a MVP. He does put up decent numbers, like you said, when he's healthy. He's just injury prone. You got a 7-foot man that's 280 pounds, and he tries to move like he's honestly, when you think of a tall person, but like an Anthony Davis or it's like, dude, you're not a freaking shooting guard. You're not a small forward. Play your job as a big. You're dang near 300 pounds. Do your job as a big. But because of the atmosphere and the style of play within the NBA, where everyone thinks they've got to be outside shooters, so that's what he thinks he has to do the same thing. And I think that's what causes a lot of his issues. Right now with him being sidelined rest of the season for a lateral meniscus injury, this is the second time he's had problems with this left knee. And honestly, it kind of reminds me a lot of Greg Oden.
Yes.
Yes. Similar, a bigger guy trying to play a style of play that is not his. It's like, dude, you're 300 pounds. You're 280. Your job is to sit down low and post. Shaq wasn't trying to be a point guard, wasn't trying to be a shooting guard. He did, what was my job? I am a 320-pound man. My butt is going to sit down in the post, and I'm going to bang boards. I'm going to bash the ball. I'm going to break rims. Yeah. And you got these bigger guys. They need to stop thinking, they are these, 3-point shooters or outside shooters. Like, no, just play down low, where you're not putting a lot of wear and tear on the mobility aspect of trying to make cuts and breaks. There's a reason why, we talk a lot about football. There's a reason why offensive linemen aren't running backs.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's the same concept. So I think he just needs to learn to play a better style of play.
I love the comparison, Mark, and that's what my whole thing was of maybe top 5 was a little overzealous, but just for me, the whole Greg Oden comparison, it just reaps bust to me. Like we drafted him, the Philadelphia drafted him with a high pick to come in here to change the franchise, and I just don't think that he's done that. So you know what I mean. That's just wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah.
Let's move on really quickly to one of the highlights of the day. But we got the Trailblazers winning that game against the 76ers 119-102. We also have the Wizards losing to your Heat 106-90. We got the Hawks. We got the Hawks winning 132-130 against the Grizzlies. That was a big game. But here's one of the games before one of the two games that we'll talk about, and then we'll move on to Tuesday. Rockets and Thunder, a little matchup of the playoffs. It looks like the Thunder pulled it off at the end, 137-128. Young boys going at it. Competitive game, but we got the Thunders winning that game, kind of proving themselves now. Are they a force to be reckoned with this year? They haven't been. They've been, completely kind of the same team, but this year it seems like a little bit different. We'll see how that all pans out at the end, but they are the number one in the Western Conference, and rightfully so. They have a fast-paced scheme, and they really effectively share the ball. SGA has been playing phenomenal, and so is Chet Holmgren, and so interesting game. But let's move on. Well, let's ask the question. Do you guys think that the Thunder, so the people know, I know what your guys' answers are, but do you think that the Thunder are for real this year? Are they going to actually make it to the Western Conference Finals? Do they get over the hump?
No.
Stay healthy.
Yeah, for me, it's the health concern for me. If they stay healthy, I think they are the team to beat outside of Cleveland. Again, SGA is on an insane run, 51 points in this game. Chet Holmgren, like I said last week, has been back. He had 9 blocks in his first 2 games. That's a big defensive anchor for them. Jalen Williams, 24 points in this game, 4 for 5 from deep. These are the kind of things that the Oklahoma City Thunder need from their role players. This is the kind of the things that SGA needs from his other guys, and I think they're producing. Dort didn't really have a big game, 11 points, but again, doable. They went out and got Hartenstein, and I think that kind of solidified the center position for them. I think they are a little young, but again, I think that they went deep into the playoffs last year. They got humbleized. I think that's going to do something. I think that's going to do something to the characteristic. SGA is playing some ridiculous ball right now, and honestly, it may be at the right time.
Yeah. For me, I think what you nailed it dead on the head when you talk about they got humbled last year. Obviously going in and expected to do a lot more than what they did. As for me, I still don't think they have that veteran presence understanding of what to do when it comes to the playoffs. I don't think they're there. You talk about SGA. Yeah, he had 51 points. He's a great player out of Kentucky. Knows what his role is. The big thing is going to be what Chet Holmgren shows up, and also if he's going to be able to stay healthy. That's the big thing. You got another guy, but the only difference is between Holmgren obviously and Embiid is Holmgren is a stick. So he's able to have that mobility, but he is a liability when it comes to certain aspects. And if you put a big body person, it's like, guess what? You're going to have to be going up and trying to body up against people. You got the likes of Holmgren is going to have to go up probably against, like if he plays against Denver. Well, I guarantee
I was thinking that's the first thing.
How's he going to go against Jokic?
Yeah.
They might be able to use was it Hammerstein or whatever his Isaiah that big? But the problem, but the problem is that guy's not going to be able to move out with Jokic. Jokic has that capability. He is that different breed because of where he comes from. And Siberian, just the style of play that they played out there. So he can sit outside. Well, you're going to have to rely on someone like Holmgren to go outside. Well, guess what? That's where Jokic can go down low. So you have to see a lot of double teams, if they have to play against them. So I just think the experience that they're lacking in the postseason is still going to get the best of them. I realistically see, maybe next year, but for sure, within 2 years, they could reach at least the Western Conference Finals. But I just don't see it this year.
Yeah, I think they're just missing just one piece. Honestly, I think that they're missing like a really dominant big. And I think if they could do the rotation correctly to match, again, like I said last week, it's going to come down to matching up. Like if they match up against the right teams, they can make it there. But like Mark, what you said, to piggyback what you said, but if they run into like Denver, if they run into teams like that, like in the Western Conference, that's going to be tough to win. But we're going to carry on. And I'm going to talk about the Pistons real quick. Pistons have turned it around, right? 130, 134 against the Jazz. Jazz terrible. But the Pistons turned it around in one season, and they blew out the Jazz. But I want to talk about this one, and a lot of us might tear up here. This is like a little sentimental. Man, to witness this game, the Sacramento Kings versus the Mavericks on Monday, and watch what happened with Kyrie and his knee, was the Mamba mentality all over again.
It lives on,
and it
brother.
was, yeah, it was the most saddest thing that we've seen in a very long time. Him going to the free throw line, crying, like literally in tears and pain, shooting the free throws, and that ends his whole entire season. I don't know what the hell that Nico is doing, but it really disrupted everything when it came to this Maverick team. And because of that,
let's think about it for a minute, because this is exactly what he did. He traded a superstar away that he didn't get along with. Then he relied on a injury-prone big and a 37-year-old point guard to carry the team. This is what happens when a 37-year-old point guard has to carry the team every night. Kyrie Irving has had injury concerns in the past. I wouldn't say injury prone, but I would say he's had a few injuries in his career. And again, he's up there in age, guys. He's 37 years old, and we're putting a team on his back. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me.
He's 32, by the way.
So he's only 32. I apologize. I thought he was a little.
I'm like you, but you just aged that man horribly.
That's a whole bunch of years.
Regardless, I mean, still, it's you're putting a whole.
I think he could play. I think he'll look the same at 60. I think he'll play the same. I mean, have you guys seen Uncle Drew?
It's the same concept. I mean, you're putting an entire team on a veteran's back that possibly couldn't carry it. You trade away your superstar, your franchise player, for a guy that's injury prone and is now out for the season. I mean, it's a bad look for the Dallas Mavericks. But my prayers go up for Kyrie. I definitely texted Chosen after the game, and we had a small conversation about tears being dropped and the emotion that was felt when he was shooting those free throws. But it was rough.
Yeah, it was a rough time.
I mean, now what's the deal? So, in all honesty, the big injury that Anthony Davis has had is because of his thigh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, you ain't broke. Why ain't you playing?
Yeah, it's always something new.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody knew what they was getting when they got him, right? So it's just like when we're talking about who won the trade, and everybody was saying Mavericks did. Well, obviously we know who won the trade now, because the Laker team is ranked number 2, and Luka and James is gelling perfectly fine when people said it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And your boy Connect. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we'll talk. Okay, we'll move into that. Are you guys okay moving into that, or do you have something to say about Kyrie?
No.
Nope.
Okay, let's move into that. So first, go to Kyrie. Hopefully, gets a fast recovery, speedy recovery. First, go out to him and the Mavs. We'll see what happens. He did request a trade right after Luka, so we'll see what happens in the offseason. But Perk goes to him. Season is done, and I think the Mavs season is done as well. Moving on. Pelicans versus Lakers. Lakers win 136-116. LeBron captures 50,000 plus points. In this game, Lakers win. The way that Luka and Kyrie are playing, the way that Luka and LeBron are playing is crazy insane to watch because when they are both attacking, they draw people in. And you know this fantasy when you dribble drive and you have your defenders coming up to double, that frees up your wing or your corner,
Absolutely.
right? So if I'm on the left side, I take the ball, I go around the screen, I go to attack, two people come up, they either can commit to the double or they fake it and then they run out and try to close out, right? What they're doing is because of the respect that they have for LeBron and Luka, they're now doubling. So it's like you have to double on both sides. What does that do? That opens up Connect. That opens up AR-15 or Rui or whoever's on the wing in the corner. The way that it's been opening up for Connect, bro, I'm so happy that trade got rescinded. Like it was the best thing. It was the best thing that ever happened because of the way that now they are balling right now, and it's crazy. They said, "Oh, they have to have a big. They have to have a big." They're ranked number 1 in defense since the All-Star break, and they said they couldn't play defense. They said that Luka and James are going to gel, and they're gelling, like alley-oops and everything. Like it's crazy to watch. Like this team is incredible, and the role players. They said in that game, I think after the first half, 26 points came from the bench. Half their points were from the bench.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. So I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I think this Laker team is for real. I expect them to make it pretty far this year. But I love to see it. I'm a fan of the game, and I love to see records being broke, just like we've seen Saquon Barkley break records this season and the things that he did. I love to see LeBron do what he did and break that record.
Yeah. No, I think this is the best Lakers team that has been a part of this season, right? Last week I talked about how they weren't utilizing their bench. They had about 6 people on their bench that didn't play because of coach's decision. We go back to this game and there's about 4 players around 20 minutes off the bench. And that's where you get the bench production.
Yeah.
You know, you got Vanderbilt, you got Connect, you got Milton, and you got Jennison the third.
They still haven't played Morris yet. They
Correct.
still haven't played Alex Lynn yet.
They didn't even know. Alex Lynn did play this game, but Cam Reddish. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like they have the depth. They definitely have the depth. But for LeBron and Luka to combine for 64, that's that's real nice. LeBron 34 points.
He said
but listen, my boy Zion, he needs some help in New Orleans, man. He can't keep doing it like this. So they either got to get rid of him or get in some help.
Done. Yeah, he's gonna get traded away.
He needs a trade and he needs it fast.
I pray to God, man. I pray to God for his career.
Hey, I wouldn't mind seeing. Imagine Zion and Ball teaming up somewhere.
That'd be nice.
The Bulls.
Yeah,
for them.
Zion with the Bulls, that could line up 1, 2, 3, and then he play the 4 and have a big 5. Then you need a 3. That could work out pretty well.
I see San Antonio giving away some of their picks that they've acquired.
Their 12,000 picks.
Yep, I see them giving some of those picks away and combining Fox, Wemby, and Zion.
That would be crazy. If Wemby comes back and it's not season ending.
I think Wemby comes back. I just don't. I think this is something that they're not willing to risk.
Yeah, because Ingram came back from it. I mean,
correct.
And he, Brandon Ingram is now still playing, so that's interesting. But any last takes on that before we move on? I'm gonna run through the rest of them real quick.
No, I'm glad I said last week that I thought the Connect trade was idiotic. I know that Mark's a big Connect fan. I'm a big Connect fan. I thought he played well in Tennessee. When LA drafted him, I was was ecstatic for them because I knew what he could be when LeBron was driving to the hole. But Connect's just got to get into his own, man. But I feel like he's going to be.
I was sad. I'm not when the Lakers drafted him. I ain't gonna lie, I was sad. I was just like, why can't you go to Boston? Why I don't care if you can go to the worst team in the NBA. Why do you gotta go to the Lakers?
He was about to. He was about to go to Charlotte.
It wouldn't have bothered me.
No, but he would have produced. Is my point. I feel like he would have produced if you put the ball 100%. In his hands, he's a scorer.
He is 100%, and I don't see them ever utilizing. I don't feel the Lakers will ever utilize him to his full potential.
No, I think he is on the AR-15 level. I really do. Of scoring, I really, really do.
Yeah, AR is finally coming into his own, and we're seeing it this year. So they're going to be a scary team coming down the line.
Yeah. So I'll run through the rest of them. We got the Pacers beating the Rockets. That's a big one, 115-102. We got the Raptors beating the Magic at 114-113, a 1-point game. We got Giannis and the Bucks beating the Hawks 127-121. We got the Warriors and the Knicks, which was a really interesting game. The Warriors were kind of struggling in the beginning of that game, actually. 114-102 to beating the Knicks. Cavaliers are still on a roll. They won 139-117. Who are going to stop them, boys? That's
speaking of, they just clinched their playoff after their 12th straight win.
Crazy, right? And all the difference the same team too, but the only difference is Donovan Mitchell is healthy.
Put up 140 in a regular season game is crazy work.
Yeah. We got Timberwolves. We got the Timberwolves with Ant-Man, 126-112 against the 76ers that are struggling. We got the Nets, obviously losing to the Spurs at 127-113. And then this interesting game with the Suns and the Clippers, not knowing what is happening. Can Bill, Booker, and KD ever get on the same page? I don't think they'll ever.
KD needs to go. KD needs to go.
Yeah, KD is the highlight of that team.
He is. He's the reason why they win those games.
He just put up 34. He's the reason they won that game.
But sometimes, I'm saying yes.
I think it's Bill. It's Bill. You need to trade Bradley Beal away and go get some other pieces. Bull is playing great. You got Kevin Durant playing great. You got Devin Booker. He hasn't really looked the same because of Bill, but I think you trade away Bill, have them as being the dominant, and have just somebody bringing up the ball like it gave Vincent or something like that, like similar to that. I think they start rolling, man.
Did Bill get hurt in that game? Because he only played 15 minutes, which is.
Probably because he has only 0 points. So.
Yeah, he's 0 points, 0 for 4, 15 minutes. I mean, that's kind of.
And they beat the Clippers.
Kind of seems trade worthy to me.
Yeah, I mean, and they beat the Clippers, and the Clippers are no slouch either. With James,
you got James Harden and
Kawhi Leonard over there. With Zubac is playing out of his mind as well.
Zubac went off.
Yeah, he had a freaking foul.
Zubac has been playing out of his mind since the All-Star break. It's crazy. But anyways, the Suns win 119-117, and that will include everything that we need to talk about in our weekly recap. Mark, what do you got for us next?
Hey, so this is going to be the great debate right here.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We could do it in 5.
The great.
All right, 5 minutes.
We need more than 5 minutes.
I need 5 seconds. So
right.
All right, so the biggest thing is LeBron obviously just became the first player in NBA history at 50,000 points between regular season and postseason. Does that solidify him at being labeled as the GOAT?
Chosen, I'll let you go first, brother. Just out of respect. Just out of respect.
Oh my God. All right. It's cool. All right. So does it solidify him as the GOAT? I think it solidifies him into the GOAT conversation that you cannot ignore what he has done for the game. I think obviously other people in different eras can say their GOAT is different. Some people say Michael Jordan is their GOAT. Some people say Dwayne Wade is their GOAT. Some people say Kobe is their GOAT. For me, LeBron is my GOAT, and the reason why I say that is because he's not only what he's done is a Hall of Fame career in every place that he's been in, and he's done it in Cleveland, he's done it in Miami, he's done it with the Lakers, he's done it when he went back to Cleveland. Those are all if you just have him as a player in each of those, and he ended his career in those years, he would have went down as one of the best players to play on those teams. And that's kind of crazy to talk about when you can see all these different trades that are happening, but nobody has made an impact like LeBron. Nobody has been a pure passer, and with all the attributes that he brings, nobody has been like him. And so I think with that being said, he definitely enters that conversation. Now, I will say that the debate with the whole GOAT thing will end if he wins one more. If he wins one more, he's definitely solidified himself as the GOAT.
How many does he have?
4.
He has 4 right now.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Not 6.
But I mean, if
not 6,
not 6.
But I mean, if we're gonna talk, you know, those type of awards, I mean, then we got to talk about everybody. We can't just talk about Mike and
But
LeBron.
we're also talking about level of competition, though. The competition that Bill Russell played against was not the level of competition that
competition
Jordan
always
played
changes within the years.
And MJ showed when he came back with Charlotte, he couldn't play at that level of competition that LeBron has played in.
What level of competition?
I mean,
the NBA. Okay, I'm gonna say this: when Jordan played, the NBA averaged only 93 points a game. Now, in the LeBron era, they're averaging 114. There is 0 defense. Hold on, let's shoot up a 3. That's the biggest thing. You know, when it comes to the Bill era, yes, I said it off air. Okay, we can sit there and go ahead and say,
the point differential had nothing to do with LeBron. Had everything to do with Curry. Curry changed the game from the 3-point line.
But you can sit there and shoot. You can make 50,000 points. Yeah. Okay, you're right. He did change it because of threes. I mean, it actually wasn't Curry. It was actually Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, you know, the likes of those guys. You know, you had 3-point sharpshooters. You know, I mean, we can sit there and even say Steve Kerr.
But you can,
but
not every kid was like, I'm gonna run down and shoot a 3 when they seen Reggie Miller. When they started saying I'm gonna go down and shoot a 3 when they seen Steph Curry do it.
Yeah,
because they all became soft.
Player and everybody can relate to him versus everyone else that's 6 feet or more above in height.
You know, for me though, no matter what, yes, huge recognition. Fact is, he got 50,000 points. He is only one of 2 players in NBA history to play in 22 seasons. The other one being Vince Carter. There is only 11 players in NBA history that have played more than 20 seasons. Jordan didn't even get a full 15 seasons. I mean, you're talking, everyone's like, oh, well, LeBron's got 50,000 points now. He's also played almost 500 more games than Michael Jordan. 500. When you do the comparison.
Why is that his fault? That's like saying Eric Dickerson and the whole Saquon Barkley argument. I mean.
For O.J. Simpson, I have no problem making that argument. I have no problem saying O.J. Simpson has the greatest running back season of all time because he did over 2,000 yards in 14 games compared to Saquon in 17. It is a massive feat. Have a lot of respect for it. But it's a different style of play. Yes, 100%. Now, when you take away the 500 games, my big catch is when you actually do a physical comparison of the years that Jordan played versus the years that LeBron played, the same quantity, Jordan has statistically done better than LeBron James. Jordan has also produced more NBA championships than LeBron still today. More defensive MVPs. Michael Jordan is the only guy in NBA history to win MVP during the regular season, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, all in 1 year, and the scoring title. So it wasn't just about, I mean, you're talking about Michael Jordan was 9-time Defensive Player of the Year. 9-time. I'm just saying, I can sit there and put up numbers. You can sit there and toss up the numbers, but LeBron statistically, yes, does he make his team better? 100%. I'm not going to deny that. But when you look at overall, the competition that Jordan played versus the competition that LeBron has played, the style of play, LeBron gets he doesn't even get touched and the dude falls to the ground.
But we're not talking
and
about
acts like he's dying.
We're not talking about fouls. We're not talking about how he falls. We're not talking about how he complains.
I mean, but if we are talking about that, like realistically, like this is an honest comment, honest take on my love for the game of basketball. LeBron made me fall out of love for the game of basketball.
Michael Jordan,
that is real
Michael
shit.
Jordan's complaining has changed the way that a lot of the rules that they put into the league.
There's a big difference between complaining and doing some acting shit. There is a lot different things because it's Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. It's a respect thing. It's you are a great. You have changed this game. We are going to hear you out and see what your take on the side of it is. But just for my take of it is look, I again, LeBron kind of made me fall out of love for the game of basketball. It is not the same type of basketball that it was back in the 90s, early 2000s. I have said that, my favorite player of all time would be probably tied between Kobe and Dwayne Wade. But I do think that the GOAT is 1A, 1B. It's Jordan and Kobe. I do put LeBron at 3. I do. What he has done is no short of impressiveness. The longevity, absolutely, 100%. It takes a certain type of mental state to keep your body going that fresh, that long for 20 plus years. It's impressive. But at the same time, when, again, and I agree with Mark, even as an Eagles fan, for you to sit here to say that O.J. Simpson did it in 14 games versus 17 games, I mean, that's an argument. It really is. But again, the style of the NFL has changed at that point. It's the same thing with the NBA. Scoring is the facet of the game now. Back in the 90s, early 2000s, it was a defensive game. It was hey, let's go down here. Let's go on the other side of the court and let's D up and see if we can stop these guys. Now it's, let's go down the court and see if I can pull from half court. It's not enjoyable anymore. It really isn't. It's not the game that I fell in love with. It's not all LeBron's fault, but the whole flopping issue kind of got to me a little bit. That's kind of what made me stop watching basketball. But again, not taken from the guy. The guy is number 3 on my list. Obviously I have to have 1A, 1B because they were very, very similar in play style. They were very, very similar in the way that they carried themselves, and Michael and Kobe. But, hats off to the guy. But when we're talking about the GOAT conversation, it's 2 different conversations. You had said that LeBron had multiple Hall of Fame careers on different teams. If you watch the documentary with Jerry Krause and on the Bulls dynasty documentary, Michael Jordan got bored. He was so good, he got bored. He had to retire because he got bored. That's not why he retired. Came back because people started playing better. That's not why he retired. That's not why he retired. Reason. He's come out and said
that's not the real reason why he retired. That's what he told you all. That's not the real reason.
We know his dad. We know there was multiple issues. Obviously, his dad passed away.
There was multiple reasons, but again, he was the point of the fact is that one of the reasons was that he was bored in the game. He retired. He came back once people started playing better. Three-peated again. Went 6-0. Has never in his basketball career, fucking NBA career, in his basketball career, high school, college, has never lost in the big game. Never.
And to me, that right there,
it's an argument.
I'm going to say this. You have him at your number 3. I don't even have, LeBron in my top 5.
That's crazy.
I think he's done a lot, but I can't.
That's why I can't talk basketball.
It's just good old fashioned healthy debate. Is he a great player? 100%, man. Is he?
That's not even putting him in as a great player. like to say that he's top 5, that's crazy, bro.
I have him top 3.
That's
I have him top 3,
respectable,
and I can
top
admit
3,
that.
because anybody can.
I can
Like I
admit that.
just stated before, I mean, some people have Michael Jordan as their GOAT. Some people have Kobe as their GOAT, and some people have LeBron as their GOAT. Those are the 3 players that are in conversation. But not even have him in the top 5. That's crazy work. As what he's done for the game, like I don't know if we're watching the same NBA career.
I don't know. I pay attention to it, but I'm just saying, personally,
I think it's more. I think personally, you hate him more so that you.
No.
I think the hate is.
No, I think Larry Bird had, I think Larry Bird had a better career, has had an overall better career. Now, statistically wise, yes, LeBron, no doubt. But Larry Bird, to me, was a better player because of the style of play, how they ran things. That's my personal opinion. But that's my opinion. Just like LeBron is your GOAT. Everyone has their own opinion. And at the end of the day, when you look at it, there's never going to be a true GOAT. Tom Brady in the NFL is not the GOAT because guess what? There was the Joe Montanas. There was the Joe Namath. There might be a greatest of that era, but there is never going to be a greatest of the all time because of the style of play. That is the biggest thing. And that's where, for me, I personally, I don't. That's why I can't put him because of that play.
Who's the best of this era?
If I had the best of this era, you would probably have to put it as LeBron.
Are we talking 2020? Or are we talking 2000?
Yeah, what era?
What era are you talking?
I mean, we have the Michael Jordan era, we have the Kobe era, and then you have the LeBron era. So during the LeBron era, he's the best of that era?
See, that's where I think you're wrong. Is I think I wouldn't label it as, and I think you hit it on the dot, like fucking tail on the donkey earlier. I think it's called the Stephen Curry era. Stephen Curry changed kids' lives. I mean, they were walking around playing on the playground in his jersey. We got Kobe, who, when you throw away a piece of trash in the trash can, what do you yell? Kobe. There are certain facets to this game that change your life. And I just don't know that LeBron has done that.
I mean, in all honesty, my personal opinion, and people think I'm crazy on this one, and you guys can say I'm crazy all you want. Me personally, I have Jordan 1, Kobe 2, Bird 3. I have Tim Duncan at number 4, and I've got LeBron at 5. I'm just saying.
I don't know if I could ever have Shaq out of my top 5. I don't know if I could ever have Shaq out of my top 5. That was the most dominant player in all of NBA history.
100%. But I also feel, O'Neal had to, when he played with Orlando, he did have Penny in his second year, but couldn't win it. All of a sudden he left, went to the Lakers. They had Kobe. They kind of formed that duo. It was one of those things. Now, Chosen is going to say, well, Jordan had Pippen. That's what everyone wants to argue.
Well, what did Pippen do in Portland when Jordan was retired?
What did he do when they all of a sudden they played each other when he went to Houston?
Nothing.
Now, I will say that Tim Duncan did have Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, who I do think are Hall of Famers.
But to me,
he also had Robert Horry, who was at the end of his career, but he was still a shooter.
But the big thing, though, is when you look at it, to me, I think there are teams that LeBron has been on, and he wasn't even the best on the team.
Oh, I can definitely agree with that.
To me, Tim Duncan was always the best on that team.
Miami. He came into Miami when Dwayne Wade was in his prime. That was Dwayne Wade's city. It will forever be Dwayne Wade's city. Let's get that.
I just say when it comes to
say he was the best one on the court, I mean, they didn't game plan around Dwayne. They game plan around LeBron.
I mean, it's kind of hard.
It would always be
play
Dwayne Wade's city.
If you want me to be honest, Dwayne Wade was already there. in Miami. So if they game planned around anybody, it would have been Dwayne Wade. They said, "Oh, let's bring in LeBron," and then they were like, "Okay, let's bring in Bosh." I mean, Wade didn't have to go anywhere because he was it's where he wanted to be.
No, I'm not disputing that. I'm saying if I'm a coach and I had a game plan, my game plan is to slow down LeBron, not Dwayne Wade.
But it wasn't even to slow down LeBron or Dwayne Wade. It was to slow down Kobe, number 6.
I think it's more the fact of like now, like who do you slow down, Luka or LeBron? You have to focus on both. You can't.
You're basically double teaming, two guys.
It depends on the matchup.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Matchup depending, 100%.
When it's Luka and LeBron, yeah, agreed.
But I mean, like I said, for me, I will give the man respect. I mean, yes, Shaq is one of the most dominant, or is the most dominant center of all time. But I don't think Shaq was, especially once Kobe hit his prime and they were together at the last runs that they had winning the championships. I felt Kobe was better than Shaq. That became Kobe's team. But again, I don't think LeBron has ever had the opportunity, and I think you nailed it, Fantasy, right dead on the head when it comes down to it. It has never been a LeBron era. This is the Steph Curry era. I can't stand this era because it is, let me shoot nothing but 3. Let me go ahead and take freaking half-court shots all the time. I'm like, no. Only time you shot a half-court is, buzzer's getting ready to run out. That's when you shot a half-court.
When was he drafted? 2011? Yeah. I'd say since 2010, it's really just been just offensive. Hey, Jeffrey Groves on TikTok said his top 5 is Jordan, Bird, Kobe, LeBron, and Shaq. I feel like that's respectable.
Yeah. I just, for me, like I said, personally, I just think Tim Duncan doesn't get the recognition because he did have such a great core. But Tim Duncan, at the end of the day, Tim Duncan, at the end of the day, he was that, he was the star of that San Antonio Spurs team.
I can agree with that. He was the top guy.
So that's where I just feel, it's like, okay, you have statistically. And what was great for me about Tim Duncan is he shut up. He would talk crap with his silence.
Yeah, he was a very humble guy.
I mean,
very
now when people ask me, like you said, Kobe and Dwayne Wade was your favorite, Mikey knows this. For me, my top, the list that I just listed, none of those guys are my top 5. My favorite player. My favorite player actually is Dennis Rodman. But that's where I feel, because I'm like, okay, I comes from that defensive era where it was like, no. And when it comes to defense, that dude was in your face. He was gritty. He was dirty. That's why he'll always be my favorite player. But like I said, you have the Jordan era. You've got the Kobe era. You've got the, even if you think about before Jordan, what era was it? It wasn't just one player. It was the Bird and Magic era. Mm-hmm. And then before that, it was a Dr. J, era. So that's where, for me,
then it was Will.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where, when you look at it, when it comes down to greatest of all time, you have to look at, do they have an era? Do they have an era named after them?
Yes.
If they don't have an era, you shouldn't be in the GOAT category. But that's where I think, everyone keeps hyping up this greatest of all time. I just think they need to drop it, just like they needed to drop it with Tom Brady in the NFL. Statistically, yes, 7 Super Bowls, great. We know the Patriots obviously got caught cheating multiple times, but didn't matter. But there's always going to be an era that played a different style, and so that's where I will always say he might be. Jordan will be the greatest of his era, but I still don't think this is not a LeBron era. So I will give the recognition. 50,000 points, man. That is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's impressive.
You talked about the longevity.
Like I said, longevity to take care of your body.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Me and Mike, we've had this conversation multiple times. When it comes to longevity, Chosen, how much money does LeBron spend a year on his body? Do you recall?
I would fumble the numbers because I would have Derrick Henry and him in my mind right now. But they both
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember Derrick Henry's like 250,000
Yeah,
or
something
something
ridiculous.
like that. It's
LeBron is up there. You got to think of this. When it comes to the longevity, guys are playing a lot longer because of what is out there compared to the Jordan era where they didn't know what the heck to do. You think about the era before that.
Yep.
It's like when it comes to baseball, people didn't know what the heck Tommy John was. And all of a sudden now they have a major surgery out of a relief pitcher.
I mean, Kobe went to Europe and he would blood spin. I mean, blood spinning was always around when Jordan was in his era too. He could have blood spin too.
Well, let's be honest. Jordan was one of Jordan's falls, and one of his bad qualities was he thought he was better than everybody else. Well, and rightfully so. But he was a gambler, he was a drinker, he was a womanizer, he was these things that he went out and clubbing and partying and came in the next day and just started hooping. But again, I just think that just shows the character. I think Kobe was the epitome of what we call now Mamba mentality.
Work ethic.
He was the mental state. Yeah, he was the work ethic. I am going to be better than Jordan. That was his mentality.
But yeah, but no, that's what we got, here for tonight's show. We want to thank everyone that's hopped on live and on the replay. Hey, let's just keep this conversation going. I want to know, who do you guys feel does it matter if there's a GOAT, or should they stop considering it a GOAT and just talk about the eras itself and give the recognition for those eras? Curious to see what everyone's feedback is. Don't forget, we have multiple shows. Obviously, we got the Eagles Nest with Sunshine. We've got Fantasy Blitz on his YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. Multiple shows. We are also Fantasy and myself and Sunshine. We are going to be coming to you here pretty soon on Saturday mornings. It will be 7:30 a.m. 10:30 Eastern time. Going to be start talking about college football and the NFL. And also even possibly talking about some baseball too on other episodes. But we know we have the combine just got completed. It is free agency time starting next week. So that is going to be the big topic, as we also have, here on our Wednesday night show, the NBA. And also, guess what? We are officially in March. It is March Madness time.
March Madness.
I'm sitting here. I got college basketball playing right now. Actually, I'm watching Tennessee. So of course, anytime they're on, I got the games on. So, but no, hey, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe on all of our channels, whether it being, like I said, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. It's not only the Sports Lounge Media, but you also got Fantasy Blitz podcast. You've also got Sunshine State Eagles. There's multiple shows here at the Sports Lounge Media Group. And so we just want to say thank you to all. We appreciate you. And again, like, follow, share, subscribe, everything. So we all hope you all have a blessed night and enjoy, man. So appreciate you all.